You want me to start with it?
Yeah, let's just do go on start. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay.
Yeah, it's really hard to begin these things. I don't think everything's as subjective as people think. We know, like, our brain says, like, the higher the percentage of symmetry, the more beautiful we consider it. Whatever that may be, like faces of celebrities or what. So I do think there's some tangible reason why we consider things art or beauty or whatever your idea of that is. But I think there are some things where it's just communication. So how clear can I make this like abstract idea, right? So I just consider it's like storytelling. How good of a storyteller or narrator or communicator are you? If you're able to get this message across in a way that has different ups and downs and this climax, and you're able to say or paint a picture in someone's head, whether that be verbal or visual or auditory. Like, I think all these things play a part into like what is art and how do we define it as art. I think it's a much larger thing than just saying like, oh, it's a photograph or it's a piece of music. Or I think there are other psychological things as well as how you present it that play a part of how we perceive it.
JD, can you put your hand on the ring? Yep, perfect. And Caitlin, can you like rock back and forth? Like on your heels? Yep, perfect.
Whether somebody agrees with this or not, sometimes I'm just trying to create something visually appealing. Like, there's no more thought than just, oh, it's pretty. And that's okay. I think that's all right. And then at other times, it's, it boils down to a focus of like, what lengths are you willing to go to get that end result. For me, I'm willing to sit on an idea for years until it fully matures to something. So that meant, photographing these locations for 4 to 5 years and finding these frames, or visually how does the light even enter these spaces, or not only how does the light like enter a space, but also how does it affect subjects or items within the space, and then what's the quality of light, what's the temperature of light. Okay, well, now document all these things and then try and replicate it. I don't like the idea that, and I don't know how we got here, but like where art projects or just projects in general had to get like into environmentalism or politics or what kind of stance you take. I think part of it is like, I just want to create something beautiful. This is like a point in time where things not only are optimistic but also beautiful. Shape, form, communication, message, like overall just like kind of positive in all respects. And it's just like, oh, well, how do I just emulate that again? Like, there's no other thought in my head to give it this grandiose sort of meaning. And maybe it will become that over time. I don't know. I just know right now that I don't think art always has to be for others, and I don't always think art has to be some bigger thing than just making something beautiful. I've gotten frustrated over time that people are so fixated with good enough, like that 70% or 75% or whatever it may be, you know? So for me, it's like, why are we so fixated on like an instant turnover? And why are we so fixated on the value of 50,000 versus like the value of like 10? Like, how does that get skewed in terms of what's more or less? Because, I mean, I guess one of the best examples I can give is like Leica or Apple. They've stuck to like one form factor, and yet it has more value than almost any other object on Earth. That's like a sort of permanency. I think one item, if you're really focused, you can create one item that has more worth than like 1,000 items. And maybe that's due to social media, maybe that's due to capitalism, maybe that's due to just what we've been taught. But I think some of my favorite items don't fluctuate. They don't change much. I'm just fixated on like, well, I just want to make this one thing great. Like, that's it. Like, there's nothing more like important to me. It's just, how can I do this one thing well? And that's it. I don't think there's anything more to it. I don't want to be a jack of all trades, a master of none. I'd rather just be the guru or sensei of like one, you know, and just be like the go-to person for that. So I think I just get fixated on this idea of, well, one, it's not good enough until it is, whether that's tomorrow or in 50 years. And I think in the long term, it'll mean more to me or to others than you know, what we're kind of convinced is like creating 1,000 things in the end. I think every artist wants to create something that endures. You know, they want to be known for something. And I don't know if that's like narcissism or some other quality that, you know, people just have in general. But for me, yeah, I want to create something that lives past me. I don't want to create things that are just for the moment, like hitting these trends, because trends come and go. They don't really mean too much. And all my favorite artists, they've transcended like way past their time. And so I think to me, there's like a really big question of like, how do you do that? And maybe that's not really up to you. Maybe that's context of the times and how things like just unfold. But I guess in my head, just oddly enough, there's the question of like, well, why can't you try? Like, why can't you try to make something like permanent. It may work, it may not work, but just try. And there's nothing more. Yeah. Money comes and goes. Time is pretty important, but besides that, it's just, yeah, it goes back to like how focused are you, and are you willing to put in the effort to try to make something that lasts. Even if one thing can last for 5 years in today's time, that's like amazing. Even if it can withstand like 10 years, that's beyond imagine. Now, try 20 or 50 or 100. Like, there's very few people, I think, who've been able to do that. I'm just here for the ride. That's really it. It's just create something great, create something valuable, create something that you can stand by, whether that takes 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and just do it well. And that's it. That's all you can do. I don't think, unless you're Tekashi 6ix9ine, I don't think you can hack your way through like this. So, yeah.
The next thing I want you to do